Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today, what we're going to talk about is Facebook horizontal ad scaling. I think this is a topic that a lot of people ask. I see a lot in a lot of Facebook groups, masterminds. People ask what's the difference between horizontal and vertical scaling. And so what I decided today is to explain to you how does horizontal ad scaling really work? When should you use it? And things to be in the lookout, right? So if you're thinking about scaling your budget and scaling your ads, horizontal ad scaling is a strategy that actually works. And it's good to know the pros and cons of going this route, right? And so you can scale really fast with horizontal ad scaling. It's a strategy that basically what you're doing is duplicating an existing ad set that is giving you results, right? And this is the key thing with horizontal ads scaling, in that you have to have an ad set that is actually working, right? You don't want to scale something that is not giving you proper results. When you want to scale something that is already giving you your CPA, your return on ad spend, you're getting the right results, and you want to figure out how to scale that successful ad set. And this is very important, right? So you need to actually have a running ad set that is actually working and it's delivering you results. And what you're going to be doing is basically making small changes to new ad set. And so what horizontal scaling really is duplicating ad sets that are successful, right? So in this case, I have a successful ad set where I'm spending $100 regardless of the configuration or conversion, or this depends on what you're looking for, right? But if I'm an e-commerce site and I'm looking for conversions, I already know my CPA, I already know my click-through rate, I already know my CPC as well. I know that I'm getting the right results. I'm under my cost of acquisition, right? And so what I basically do is, instead of increasing the budget to that ad set, that's vertical scaling. With horizontal scaling, what I basically do is duplicate that ad set. And so by duplicating the ad set, I'm basically increasing my budget by the many times, or however many times you're duplicating that ad set, right? So if I'm spending $100 a day or on my ad set, when I duplicate it 3 times, what I'm basically doing is I'm increasing my budget 4 times in one day. Why? Because now I have 4 ad sets running with $100. So instead of spending $100, I'm spending $400, but I'm spreading that budget within different ad sets, right? I'm not spending that money or increasing the budget within the similar or the same ad set. I'm basically duplicating this. And this is the key concept of how you scale budget horizontally, right? So when people say, "Oh, you should you should do a horizontal scale," what they're basically saying is figure out new ways or small changes to your ad sets to see if they give you better results before you actually increase your budget within those ad sets, right? And so what do I mean by this? Basically, and these are things to keep in mind when you're scaling your ad sets horizontally. One is you need a large budget, right? So if you don't have a budget, you might as well a large budget, then you might as well just stay with the same ad set that you're having, or maybe you want to duplicate it just once. But if you're trying to really scale and spend more money, then make sure that you actually have the budget, right? And make sure that you actually already have an ad set that is giving you results. 2, and this is important as well, you're going to need a lot of creatives. So one of the biggest things that you're going to be doing here is changing your ads or the creative aspect of your campaigns so you can test that out over time, right? So by duplicating ad sets, what I'm basically changing is ads, so my creative. And so you want to prepare and make sure that you have multiple creatives ready so that you can change and scale your budget this way. And 2, you want to be careful with audiences, right? Because by duplicating your ad set, sometimes if the audience is too small, you're gonna have basically within your campaign competing ad sets. So 2 ad sets are going to be competing with each other just because everything is the same with regards to the audience. The only thing that you're changing is different things that we'll talk about. So you might have audiences that are competing with each other. So you want to make sure that you also be in the lookout for audience overlap or delivery overlap, and also be in the lookout for just making sure that you have a large enough audience to do this, right? So one, keep in mind your budget, and two, creatives. And so this is what I was talking about before as well, is be in the lookout for overlap delivery, right? So you want to make sure that your audiences don't overlap by more than 20-30%. As like a good benchmark, I think that's a pretty good number, in that if your audience is overlapping more than that, then you might as well change that audience, right? Because you're gonna have a similar audience competing within your ad sets, right? You already have a successful one. You don't necessarily want to change that or affect that one. What you want to do is changes that bring better results, right? So you don't want to basically compete against that one, or have two ads competing against the same audience. But what you want to have is changes where it's going to allow you to scale that budget. And so things that you can test or change with horizontal scaling, I would say changing the maximum annual lowest bids. So I would say manual bids work pretty well with horizontal scaling, right? So you don't want to use lowest cost necessarily, but manual bids could work, and you can change this, right? So if you already know how much your cost per acquisition is, you could change those bids as well and see if you get better results by moving that bidding, right? Or that manual bid that you're using. Target cost versus manual bid. This is something that you can test as well. So as you copy ad sets, what you're basically changing is the way you're bidding into Facebook auction. And this can bring different results as you spend your budget and move along with spending your money on your campaigns, right? You can double your budget. You can change the devices, right? So maybe you want to focus just on desktop, maybe just on mobile. You can change landing pages. So you leave everything the same, but the only thing that you're changing is you're bringing people to different landing pages to see if you have better conversions on those landing pages as well. And so by improving your cost per acquisition, you're going to get better results, better spending on your budget, right? So this is a way in which you can scale your ad sets. You're multiplying or copying existing successful ad sets, and you're making these small changes so that you can see if you're getting better results and you can get better conversion rates, right? And this is a very important aspect of this, is you want to keep changes to one, right? So you only want to change one thing per ad set. You don't want to change multiple things, because then you don't know what's working or what made the difference. Like if you change the amount of the budget, but also the ads, and also like you move from target bidding to manual bidding, then you have no idea what's changing, right? So what you want to make sure in that case is you want to multiply that by 3, right? So you want to have 3 additional running ad sets that you can basically see results, and you can actually see from your test what worked and what didn't. So this is something to keep in mind, where even if you're doing A/B testing, you only want to make one change. And that's because you want to make sure that you know exactly what change you did, and you know that affected positively or negatively in the results that you're having. So that's basically it for horizontal ad scaling. Make sure that you join our group. We have close to 13,000 members now, people who are learning how to run their ads, have better results with what they're doing. So make sure you join. We also have, like, if you're trying to get your Facebook Blueprint certifications, we have a free study guide that has been downloaded by over 10,000 people by now. We also have practice questions that you can use to better prepare and get ready for your exams. So make sure you join, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for listening, guys.